Hello everybody, DZ for you today with another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. Today's topic, a quite extensive passive guide. So in the first part I will go over the more general passives, the more easy to explain, and in part 2 I will more go into detail and more extensive categorize the passives that are in the game. So here we go. So first of all, I want to show you some timestamps, so you can skip to the part you're interested the most one. And so let's begin with the first category. It's just the universal passives. And what are universal passives? It's just a passive that applies, doesn't matter of anything, no condition whatsoever. So you just throw this unit on any slot, on any situation, this passive applies, that's it. So best example, Green Merlin, just throw her in the team, doesn't matter, main slot, fourth slot, you will get an Ult-Orb for the whole team, so that's it. Another example for this are this guy here, his name is Holy Knight Jude, whatever. So plain and simple, allies reflect 10% of damage taken, that's it. It's a general, universal, overall passive, doesn't matter whatsoever. So the next category, the race related stats. It's just what the name says, like best example is Alpha, increases all human allies HP related stats by 15%, so this applies just on every human. So I have like 20 other examples. Another human passive, it's just Hauser increases all humans basic stats by 8%, and King does the same thing for fairies. So the next category, type related. So type, I just call it attribute or type. So increases all strength attribute allies defense, so this applies just for all the strength attribute. I just call them red type. So another example is Blue Jericho. She increases all blue speed attribute types allies attack related stats by 10%. So you get the point, just this color related stuff. So the next types of passives are the location related. For example, this Kane just increases all allies attack related stats, but only in deathmatch. Another example, it's the Green Guild Thunder, so he increases defense related stats, but just in PvP. And for example, like Simon's passive, Serenity, increases all allies damage dealt by 50%, but just in PvP as well. So you get the point. That were the more general types. And in the next part I will go more on the extents and details. So the first one is the stat related type. So it's the passive demands on the specific stat that the unit got, like in this example pierce rate. The more pierce rate he got, the more he will decrease the enemy's resistance. Another great example is Valenti. Like she's giving her own resistance to all allies. And our all favorite example is Lilia, just giving her own PS rate, the half of it, 50%, to every other person in the team, but just when she's on the battlefield. So this does not work in the fourth slot. And that's with every stat related passive. And Red Slater is another great example for that, just like to prove my point. So the next passive types, the turn related ones. So one great example, Gila. Every turn she does not take damage, she will gain an Ult-Orb. And a very creative passive as well, Ban. When he take damage in a turn, you will get an Ult Cage Orb. So maybe you threw both of them in one team, yeah, that's a quite bad idea. Basically it's not there. They synergize very well actually, because yeah, Gila can AoE ignite and he has weak point, but no, that's not the point. So yeah, another great example for turn-based passives, Diane. She increases her own attack by 6% each turn, up to 5 times. And the last example, our all favorite Red Gopher, Trickery. When he doesn't take damage, increases all allies attack by 10% up to 5 times. So yeah, that's great. So next passive type, the dying types. When an ally dies, he increases his own crit chance by 50%. So another great example for a dying passive is just Hellbram, because yeah, when he dies he just revives himself with the value of 100% of his defense. So in this example he would come back with just 2k, because I don't build him at all. And as you can see, it's like 5% of his health. Another great example, I don't have her, so the Blue Elizabeth. When she dies, she just fills every Ult-Orb by 2 and heals them full and cleanses, and yeah, but the hero have to die. The same thing like a Thrall Dream in the future. So the next passive type, the hero skill used, or the card type used. So yeah, the more cards or skills you use, the more increase he will get, like it's on the damage dealt increase. But the best example is yeah, our favorite Green Jericho. Per used card, he just increases her own crit chance by 10%, we all know it. So the next passive type, the Ult Cage Orb related passives. Best example, King. For every Ult Cage Orb he have, he will get an addition of 10% crit chance, so increases like 50%, and when it's filled up it's an additional of 50%. So when he's filled up he just guarantees crit in the most cases. And yeah, that's one example for the Ult Cage Orbs. The best example is yeah, our big boy Escanor, just like when the Ult Cage Orbs are fully filled up, when he's like 5 of them, he just gained immunity against everything, buffs and debuffs. Another example is Blue Demon Melee. If he's 4 or less orbs, he's immune to attack disable effects. And Merlin is another example for this. It's like yeah, per Ult Cage Orb he increases her own PS rate by 10%. And the last category of passives, I would say, is the HP ratio dependent passives. Like he increases his own crit chance by the HP ratio, so the more he loses, the more his crit chance will increase. Another great example for this passive is Freyja. We never use her whatsoever, but her passive is like the same category but in garbage, because decreases all recovery rate. Like what? Based on the managed HP? Yeah, we never used it. And for the last and maybe bonus thing-ish, I would say, there are another passive types, but there are just the commandments. It's just the passive that applies on your team and the enemy team. So yeah, and there are passives that applies when you're entering the battle. Great example is Gallant. When he enters a battle, he just picks one random enemy, and yeah, that enemy can only attack Gallant and can't apply debuffs on him. Another example like Gallant is just Arden. When he enters the battle, just decreases the ultimate gauge orb of all enemies by 2. So a last bonus tip, it's like something obvious, but I didn't know by myself until very recently, yeah. When there is this text line, applies when entering battle. This means it does not work in the 4th slot. Yeah, I think I already said it, but It's very important, because you can't use Valenti in the 4th slot. She's useless there. So yeah, keep that in mind. And thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.